Hi, I'm Jimmy Carter with Chrysler Jeep Dodge City of McKinney. We're an approved installer and distributor for the Serbonda product. Every car that we've treated to this point has seen an increase in mileage of somewhere between 15 and 25%. We've treated cars brand new within a year or two of being sold. We've also treated cars with several years of experience already on them. They all have seen that same type of mileage increase. The older cars tend to run much smoother. They don't have the vibration and the noise that they were experiencing before the treatment. And we've yet to have one complaint from any of the customers that have been treated with the Serbonda product. The specs on the product have been so spectacular, even our service and parts director, Scott Spindle, treated his own personal truck. Scott has experienced an increase in mileage of about 3 miles a gallon in town in local driving, and as much as 4.5 to 5 on the road pulling his boat to the lake on the weekends. Personally, I have it in my own car. It's a little bit older vehicle. All of the vibration and shaking that I had noticed in it before is now gone completely. My car is in 2003 with nearly 100,000 miles on it, runs as smoothly as one of the brand new cars there at the dealership.
I'm Jeff Richardson, owner of Richardson Auto Care and driver of the Serbonda Advantage drag race cars. I wanted to talk with you about the first time I used Serbonda, which was on a vehicle that the compression variance was 25 psi from cylinder to cylinder. And when the owner of Serbonda came to me and said, this product will do X, Y, and Z, I said, you're going to have to prove it to me, and he did. We installed it in the car, and it actually brought every cylinder within 5 psi of the other cylinders, which is an excellent increase in performance, and that would be something that you could actually feel on the street. We also tore down one of our race motors recently just to verify the coating, and we did notice that it is coated on the cylinder walls as well as on the pistons. You can actually see a translucent clarity to the pistons that's not usual, and the cylinder walls have a glass smoothness that is actually filled in the hone on the cylinder walls. I run Serbonda in everything from my street driver to my lawnmower, and believe that it actually offers an increase in longevity as well as fuel economy, and has advantages for the environment as well. Come see us at Serbonda.com. Let us know how we can help you enjoy the Serbonda Advantage.
Welcome back to Business Spotlight. I'm Patrick Dewar. What a great testimonial of what Serbonda is doing inside of the engines of the clients and of Serbonda.com. This section is going to be on the technical side of exactly what's happening and how it's affecting your engine. I've got the technical guru whiz behind Serbonda.com, David Poole. David, thanks so much for being on the show.
You're welcome.
Now, this side will be a little bit more technical than the other two that were in the show. What is it exactly that this product is doing to the engine?
Well, the first thing it's doing is curing a problem that's mainly existed since about the early 90s, when in order to make the catalytic converters last a lot longer than they were lasting, typical experiences were they had to be replaced about 80,000, and the EPA wanted a 100,000 mile guarantee on those things. The car companies found that by increasing the temperature in the engine, rather than having it at 180 degrees, they ran it up to 210.
Okay.
What this did was make the oil burn. And burnt oil creates carbon.
Right.
And carbon in the engine would very slowly, so that you couldn't tell, degrade the performance. Now, once you put in Serbonda, it's going to go to work, first of all, to eat its way underneath that carbon to get to the metal.
Okay.
And the carbon gets released. This allows the rings to have the same springy effect they had when the engine was brand new, and therefore cling to the walls of the cylinder instead of being stuck in the piston.
Right.
Being stuck allows a lot of blow-by, which is why the oil gets dirtier faster.
Right.
If you've ever had a new car, you notice that the first time you change the oil, the second time you change the oil, it's relatively clean even when it gets changed.
Right.
As the car accumulates miles, the oil gets dirtier.
Right.
Most of this is contamination from blow-by gas. because it's gotten past the pistons and the rings and it's gone into the sump.
Right.
If you also pulled a compression test, I think everybody's heard about those, but if you ran the car into the garage, pulled out the spark plugs, ran a compression test, you'll find that the pressures are somewhere within 10 to 15 psi of each other.
Okay.
Now this is usually quoted as acceptable. Right. But let me say this, after you treat that car with Serbond, you put about 200 miles on it, bring it back and run another compression test, now you're going to find they're within 1 or 2 psi of each other.
Really?
What we've just done is balanced the power in the engine.
Right.
From each cylinder. So, funnily enough, most of the harmonics in the engine or the vibrations go away. This tends to make you feel that the engine and the car itself is driving smoother.
Right.
But all we've done is really brought it back to where it was when it was new. Now it can operate the way it's supposed to operate. But it's the accumulation of carbon inside the engine that is killing the performance. And it happens so slowly, you cannot feel it. But there's significant carbon even in a new engine after only about 1,000 miles is when it starts to accumulate.
Really? So in a car that has, like mine had 98,000 miles on it, it had plenty of carbon in there. The stuff goes in, cleans out the engine, and then it restores the pressure that's in the cylinder. Is that what you're saying? And it coats the inside of the cylinder. Is that what's happening?
By freeing up the ring in the piston,
right,
the first thing we do is even out the compression in the cylinders, which evens out the power.
Right.
And then Serbond, once it's cleaned the metal, it'll then coat the metal so that now you have a glass on glass effect instead of metal with oil on metal.
So it sounds like it reduces the friction, which that lowers the temperature then.
Oh, absolutely.
What about the catalytic converter? Since they raised the temperature to compensate for the catalytic converter, once somebody has treated the engine, how does it affect the exhaust?
Well, because you are not allowing a significant amount of blow-by gas to go down into the oil still stays cooler, and that keeps the engine cooler.
Right.
But all of the heat of the combustion is going out of the exhaust pipe. So therefore, you're still able to keep the catalyst hot enough to make it burn. Expanding heat when the gas explodes with the spark plug is what pushes the piston down, right, and makes the power. So therefore, the more of that heat we can capture, right, the better off we are.
So for some of us that are not real technical, is there any way that, like on your website, maybe there's a visual of this?
Yes, there is. I would recommend that people go to our website, serbond.com, and on the front page of that, there are a couple of moving pistons with arrows showing basically what I've just been talking about. And if they can't understand the words, because they're not familiar with the technical terms, visually they'll be able to see exactly what's going on. Go to serbond.com, get yourself some of the product, and you will be the next person to write a testimonial to the company.
Very good. Thanks for watching Business Spotlight. This is Patrick Dewar. Go to Serbond, Serbond.com. Get yourself some of the product, use it, let it prove you to be exactly what they say. It's 100% guaranteed, so you can't go wrong. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.